But Stafford, I want to see Stafford get MVP. You know, some people had certain opinions after we played the Rams, and I was like, bro, you're my favorite player. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'll stand on that.
But that dude's throwing crazy no-lookers all the time.
He will never take himself out of the game.
I just remember that one video of him like going and doing the 2-point conversion when he f***ed up his other shoulder when he's back in Detroit early in his career. He was like crying. I remember him going, oh, and I'm sacked up and threw that 2-point conversion
like a boss
with a broken shoulder. I was like, I'm a Matthew Stafford guy ever since then.
Having an MVP type of season. I don't want to put him in a class with Tom, but I mean, it's reminiscent of Brady.
Matthew Stafford is unstoppable right now. His move to LA 4 years ago has unleashed a monster on the NFL, giving him the ring his career deserved to put him in the shot for the Hall of Fame. And now with an insane MVP level season underway in 2025, surely that Hall of Fame bid is all but guaranteed. But why? What makes Matthew Stafford so damn unstoppable? Well, to find out, we need to listen to the people who have been lucky enough to play alongside him, or in this case, unfortunate enough to go up against him. Because in today's video, we're going to go over different times that players, coaches, and even analysts talked about the traits and qualities that make Matthew Stafford so unstoppable. Now, KRICH crew, we are back with another banger. And look, I got two hats here because I don't know who we should, truthfully, chat, I got to know. When you think of Matthew Stafford, do you think Detroit Lions legend or do you think LA Rams legend? What do you guys think? Truthfully, for me, I think damn near toughest quarterback in the NFL is what I think Matthew Stafford, because whenever dude gets hit, I just fear that he is not going to get up, because in the, what was it, playoffs 2 years ago or last year, he was taking some brutal hits and dude was not, I didn't think he was going to get up, but then he just kept getting up. But let me know, do you think he is a legend of the Rams or a legend of the Lions or both? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, while you're there, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. For me, I grew up watching him as a Lion. I mean, obviously I've watched him as win the Super Bowl as a Ram, but truthfully for me, I think he's more of a Lion. Bro was on that team that went, what, 0-16 or no, he wasn't on that team, but he was he on that team? I don't know. Let me know if I'm tripping, but it's just like the treacherous just kind of teams he had to play with when he was on the Lions. It was just brutal while he was there, and just him and Calvin Johnson were like just trying to keep that team going. And they made the playoffs a couple times with Caldwell, but obviously now he's with the Rams and he's doing stuff that Patrick Mahomes is doing and not getting as much credit for him. I'm sorry some of y'all don't want to hear that, but it's true. Like, Stafford's out here doing no-look passes, and if Mahomes was doing that, they'd be doing backflips on it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But now with all of that out of the way, of course, we do have to talk about Matthew Stafford, because one thing that has always massively helped out this future Hall of Famer is his longevity. Matthew Stafford is now in his 17th season in the NFL, still slinging the rock with ease at the age of 37. Like, that in of itself is special, but what makes this situation truly rare is just how well he's playing at the moment.
The Rams and Matthew Stafford have been terrific. He's having an MVP type of season. I don't want to put him in a class with Tom, but I mean, it's reminiscent of Brady, where it just keeps getting better and better and better. I remember when we practiced against him and played him several years ago. Gotten smarter, he understands more, he knows how to use weapons, maybe just a split second quicker. He's a little harder to fool, and something you might have got him with a couple years ago, you're not going to get him with now.
I appreciate those words from Coach. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for what he's been able to accomplish throughout his career and had some great battles against him.
And look, as crazy as it sounds that I'm about to compare him to the greatest quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady is, well, we all heard, you know, when Tom Brady got closer to that age of 40, everybody was like, oh, he's going to start declining and not playing as well. And then he did the exact opposite. And well, that's the exact same thing that's happening with Matthew Stafford right now. And he's flipping on a switch that not many people thought was possible. After 11 weeks of the 2025 NFL season, a 37-year-old Stafford is completing 66% of his passes for 2,557 yards, 27 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions. Yes, you heard that right. 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions for 11 games so far. And just to put it in perspective too, the last time this guy threw an interception was week 3 against the Eagles. Since then, he's thrown 22 touchdowns. Like, those stats tell the story of a quarterback who is completely at ease on the field and one who still has an outrageous amount of talent despite his age.
I mean, the first thing that goes through my mind is this guy is just ridiculously talented. Like, you know, I'm just envious of, you know, what he can do with a football, first and foremost. When we did some of those meetings, remember Devontae was talking to us and he said, this guy is the best manipulator of defenses that I've ever been around. And you see that time and time again. So it's things like that he does that you're just like, man, what's going through his mind and how is he figuring these things out?
And what's scary for, the entire NFL is that Stafford still has plenty of talent left in the tank. And not only that, but now it's also being combined with 2 decades of experience playing the hardest position in the NFL. Like, let's be frank, Stafford has probably seen it all, lost to it all, and then still beaten it all at the same time while playing in his 20 years in the NFL. He understands defenses better than ever before, and crucially, better than almost everyone else in the NFL. He can toy with the opposition and always knows exactly how to find the best solution for his team on almost every drop back.
Oh my gosh, like the calmness and like his ability just to have the precedence to move his arm angles and to understand where the defense is. And I mean, the thing we say in meetings is don't look at my eyes, don't look at my eyes. So I think it's so funny because it happens every day during the week, and then when it comes on Sunday, it's like it's even better than what we see on Thursday.
This perfect meshing of obscene quarterbacking skill and veteran experience has led the LA Rams to atop the NFC with an 8-2 record. Their 27.2 points per game ranks 6th best in the NFL, led primarily by Stafford's arm, with their 246.9 passing yards per game also ranking 6th best. And really, I think ever since Stafford has arrived in LA, he's been the perfect leader for this team. He powered them to a Super Bowl in his first season there, and now 4 years later, he may well be doing it again off the back of an MVP caliber campaign. The Rams are truly getting more than they could have ever dreamed of when they traded for Stafford ahead of that 2021 season.
He's been awesome, Gary. He's just been total command. It's a continuation of a guy that really works, his tail off throughout the course of the week. He uses the accumulation of knowledge and experience, and then he's just playing really confident. It looks like the game is really in slow motion to him right now. And the best thing about him is he's so humble. But we're really grateful to be able to have him leading the way. He instills a belief every time that he's at the switch for us, and guys play well around him. You want to do right by him. He makes me a better coach, and certainly don't take for granted how lucky I am to be able to work with him, and I know our team feels the same way.
So basically, this guy is just the perfect all-around package for a quarterback. And yeah, I know it's probably not a surprise that people in the building and even his own coach talk about him so highly, but I think what means even more is hearing what other people think that aren't inside the building. I mean, anytime you have Aaron Rodgers, one of the most talented passers of the ball in NFL history, saying this, you're doing something right.
I will say this, a guy who probably doesn't get anywhere near the credit.
Brett.
We're doing shit like that all the time. He wears number 9 and plays in Detroit. Okay. That dude, what he does with the ball, it's impressive. It's really, really impressive. And I know Dan Orlovsky will highlight some stuff from time to time, sure, because they play together and they're good friends, which he should. But that dude's throwing crazy no-lookers all the time. And he can throw from any arm angle.
Rodgers made that statement too during the 2020 season, by which point Stafford had already been aligned for 12 years. Obviously, everybody knew who he was and knew that he was a good player, but this kind of lofty praise was rare for him at that time. The Lions were one of the most underwhelming franchises in the NFL over those 12 years, only earning 3 playoff appearances, which all ended with losses in the wildcard round. And that's the thing, I think a lot of that year-on-year just disappointment led to Stafford not being recognized as a truly elite quarterback in the NFL. For example, in 2011, Stafford ranked 3rd in the NFL for both his 5,038 passing yards and 41 touchdowns, which was amazingly not good enough to earn him his first Pro Bowl nod. This did kickstart a run of 7 straight seasons with at least 4,200 passing yards and 20 touchdowns though. He also came incredibly close to hitting the 5,000 yard mark again in 2012, which he led the league with 435 completions for 4,967 yards. Still, no sign of a Pro Bowl. In fact, despite all of this sustained success for an individual, Stafford only earned one singular Pro Bowl selection as a Detroit Lion. But still, through all of that disappointment, Stafford remained dedicated to being the best teammate and leader he could be, meaning that even though he never got the attention he deserved on a national stage, the people who shared a locker room with him certainly did appreciate him.
First thing for me was just his toughness, and I saw that, his first 2 years. The kid, he messed up his shoulder. He had multiple injuries. He played through them, and, got to see that. But not only that, the guys that showed up earliest in the facility, like Dominic Raiola, I was one of those guys, and you saw Matthew start to, follow the trend. He started to hang out with the pros that were really trying to do it right. And it was just really an effort of him just trying to, become the best version of Matthew on the field.
This constant drive to improve and be the best player possible is a trait that all the greats have. Frankly, to be 37 and playing in the NFL, you have to have an obsession with the sport. And I think it's safe to say Stafford certainly has that, but he also has the relentless drive and work ethic that is required if you want to be able to stick your name at the top. This is something that Stafford's peers mention a lot when discussing what makes him so special too.
I have such a great appreciation for Matthew because when I was with Matthew 10, 12 years ago, he was still such a talented thrower of the football, but mechanically a little bit inconsistent. He has worked so hard to become repetitive. And so he's merged this really natural talent throwing the football with this maniacal obsession with being mechanically sound. Their pass game is so on rhythm and so on point. The timing of his throws, these balls are out of his hands so quickly, and they're to the perfect place placement-wise. And so you got those two receivers out there with their tight ends. I think that's one of the reasons why there's such a dangerous play-action passing offense, because Matthew is just so consistent with his mechanics nowadays, man.
And look, we all know Stafford, he's always had the talent. It was more so just kind of the dysfunctional Lions organization that really never gave him the talent around him to unleash his full potential. Nothing vindicates that statement more too than the fact that he won the Super Bowl in his first season away from Detroit with the LA Rams in 2021. This is where the fans finally got to see just how good Matthew Stafford could be, and he did not disappoint.
Is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer based off of now winning the Super Bowl with the Rams and all his stats? And I remember I did a podcast probably a couple weeks later, and I said 100%. And I might be biased now because I've seen you as my teammate, but now I'm he got the Super Bowls, he got the stats. Today I saw it during the middle of the game. They congratulated you. Top 11 most passing yards in the season, regular season. But now you got the playoff wins, the Super Bowl, you got it all now. So in my opinion, you Hall of Fame. I'm gonna say you Hall of Fame.
The incredible 2021 season confirmed Stafford's elevation to legendary status, which is crazy to think of for a guy who just had one Pro Bowl selection at the time. If you want even more evidence that Stafford has always been underrated, just look at the fact that he didn't even earn a Pro Bowl nod in the year he took the Rams to Super Bowl glory. The guy walked into an entirely new system, passed for 4,886 yards and 41 touchdowns en route to a 12-5 record, and still couldn't persuade people to put him in the Pro Bowl. Thankfully, he did get the last laugh with his Lombardi trophy, confirming what everyone should have known far earlier. This guy is elite. And a couple of guys who have always recognized that Stafford was a special quarterback are the Manning brothers, who were left in awe of Stafford's arm talent when they got to see it up close and personal.
Matthew, both these quarterbacks were at our football camp. Dak and Jalen, you were at our camp back in 2008. I got to tell you, I've never told you this. Eli and I were arguing over who had to throw after you, because you were throwing the tightest spiral. I remember you were throwing a post route. You waited till the receiver got to 60 yards before you threw it. Right? For me, I'd have to hit the cutoff man to make a throw go 60 yards.
That rocket arm still does exist today, only now it's combined with all the experience Stafford needs to make sure he's firmly in the MVP race as a 37-year-old quarterback. But that's not just the thing. It's not only the older players that recognize the quality of Stafford's game. CJ Stroud, one of the league's rising stars, was happy to admit that his go-to guy for learning how to play the position was none other than Matthew Stafford.
Look, dog, hold on. Before you do all this extra shit, I'm a student of the game. Stafford a dog,
He is a dog.
No, you don't understand, bro. You saying that. That's all I watch. I don't watch nobody else. I watch Mahomes at times, because Mahomes does some stuff that you can't coach. Stafford, dog,
he will beat you with the same thing every time. All that no-lick stuff, I got that from bruh. Like, literally, that's one of my big, like, I'm a fan of his. Like, if you, hold on. If you give Matthew Stafford a chance like Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee he might have had more rings, for sure. I think Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford had more rings than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he could have another ring probably.
I'd say he had like 3, 4.
He might, it's possible.
Bro.
He good.
But
what I'm saying is, it's levels of greatness. You got this.
Between his commitment and drive to play at the highest level for 17 years, the elite arm talent, and the uncanny ability to manipulate defenses, there is no doubt that Matthew Stafford is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. He's a true leader, evidenced by his achievements at both ends of the spectrum in Detroit and LA, and he's a true entertainer with his no-look passes and outrageous arm talent. In many ways, it is a shocker that he's landed just 2 Pro Bowls to his name. Not that it bothers him that much, as his Lombardi trophy was well deserved, and who knows, maybe another one is arriving very, very soon.